Good afternoon and welcome to Patriot Tough Talk. I'm your host, Mike. Today I want to talk about division. I want to talk about division, the division of our country. And I'm going to touch base on a lot of topics that, shows that we're divided, or at least the media, the mainstream media, is trying to make us believe we're divided. I don't personally believe we're as divided as a country as everybody is making out. I think they're facilitating some of the division. I think I, I think that with us being all up in arms and divided over basically everything, that it's just making us a weaker country. With that being said, I mean the divisions that I'm seeing are, they're trying to, the ever infamous they are force feeding racism to everybody. Um, I know, me being a military person, racism is unusual to me because you don't really, the only color you see is green or desert tan, and you don't really look at the brothers that you serve with. They can be black, white, purple, or green, and you don't care because they're your brother, and you have to count on them. You don't like everybody that you serve with, but you trust them. You might not trust them with your wife, or you might not trust them with your wallet, but you trust them with your life. You trust that if you're out in the field and you're doing something, and it's dangerous, they got your six and you got theirs. And that basically means we're both making it home tonight, if I have anything to say about it. And their mindset's the same way. Now, you're not going to like everybody, like I said. You're going to think, oh, that dude's a dick. Oops, sorry, asshole. But fact is that when it comes down to it, you got each other's back. And if you don't like somebody, it's got nothing to do with their color. It has to do with their personality. It has to do with their. Most of the time, it's because dudes complain. And you get irritated with listening to dudes that complain, and we all did it. We've all complained. Everybody in the world complains about something. But right now, there's a wedge being driven between the races, and primarily they're trying to separate the black people and the white people, and they're doing it by um, they're trying to drive home some messages. You know, I and I'm not privy to every situation around the country. I'm not, and I'm not saying there isn't people who don't like people simply because of their color or their religion, or but and the truth is, it's a topic that, look, there are people of every color and religion that are prejudiced against somebody else. Um, it's not strictly a one race or a one religion issue. So the news is trying to make it, and what happens if they divide the people? I mean, does that make us weaker for somebody else to come into this country and take over? Does that, even the thing with the presidential election, whether you believe that Trump won or not, whether you believe that it was um, that there was some form of cheating or unfairness going on, it divided the country as well. And that division is probably the worst because there is no real answer. Because we'll never know the truth. We'll never know the truth. That's just a fact. At this point, we won't know anything. You know, we have to accept who's in office, and we have to grade him and her on their performance. And thus far, it's funny. I saw a thing today that said they had a 54%, um, 54% you're doing good rating, and I laughed. I couldn't come up with 54% of the people in any establishment or store that I was in. If my life depended on it. And that's here in New York, which is predominantly um, predominantly Democrat. So I laugh at these polls and these ratings because where are they getting it? Where are they getting their information? If I call 100 of my friends or 100 people who think like I do, well, sure, the numbers are going to be skewed one way. Um, you know, I've never been contacted ever for a poll. 55 years of life almost, and I've never been contacted for a poll. Which way do I think? Even online, I don't get anything that says, "Hey, can you tell us how you feel about this?" So, getting back to topic, our government right now is forcing a division amongst itself. The Republicans are blistering questions, um, but it's not the federal government that's in division because I don't believe they are. Um, I believe that the federal government is the problem. The states are actually walking away from the federal government. What they're doing is they're passing laws inside the state that counteract any of the potential um, federal bills that come down. So, to give you an example, some states, counties, districts are passing Second Amendment um, Second Amendment bills. They're basically saying their gun laws are based on the Second Amendment, and they will not allow any others. That there supersedes whatever comes from up above. Um, there was a bill signed today by South Dakota and Arizona, basically saying that these vaccination passports don't apply here. That they signed a bill saying that in their states the vaccination card that's supposedly the only way you're going to be able to get into restaurants and airplanes and hotels and things along that nature. It doesn't apply in those states. They don't accept it. So do. So if our government on the state and federal level is that divided, and they're trying to divide the people, what is the outcome? What is the goal? What is the and I'm not looking at anything right now other than just the facts. I watch and follow the bills that they're trying to pass in the New York Assembly, um, the New York House, and the New York Senate, I guess. I watch the federal bills and see what's coming out. And there's a huge debate on HR 1 right now, with live feeds from the committee that's reviewing it. In case you didn't know, HR 1 is basically federalizing election laws. The states have started to make changes to their election laws, forcing every person to have a form of ID. There are people who are saying that that's unconstitutional, that doesn't allow people to vote. It covers ballot harvesting, which, in case I just kind of figured out or found out what it was today, ballot harvesting is when you go to an Indian reservation, the Indian reservation can't come and vote at the polls for some reason, and there's a reason for it. That the chief of that reservation would be able to collect all the votes and submit them as just him. And there are flaws with that for sure. There are flaws for that for sure. Like, you can go to a nursing home and have everybody vote and hand carry the ballots around to people, but I don't know if you've been to a nursing home lately. A lot of people really don't. Not everybody has their full functionality. Let's just be honest. They don't all have the ability to cognitively process a thought. So, and there's a lot of room for, unfairness or rule breaking there. With this division, though, in our country, it makes me feel like we're being weakened. It makes me feel like there's a reason they're trying to get everybody against each other. Clearly, the states are against the federal government. Majority of the states, I would say. There's New York and California. But California and New York are both, you're very popular in the red this year, more so than ever. They're huge cities overruled the rest of the states. Say. So the states are rebelling against the federal government. The federal government and the media are driving wedges between the people over over a lot of things. I mean, race is the top one, but they're driving, equity and equality. That's a huge one, because the way it's defined is that people in the minority actually get more than the majority. I guess is the best way to put it. When you start doing it by ratios and percentages and all that. Now, back to why I think it makes us weaker. I'm wondering, is there a reason that they want us weak? We've already been divided through the election. They divide us every day in the media by pumping story after story after story. And then their twist on it just makes everything look terrible. There's a definite decline in trust in law enforcement. Although I think that is even skewed, because we're only seeing some statistics and we're only seeing certain incidents. We're not, there's a homeless vet gets burned, gets lit on fire here in Rochester by two teenagers. And it barely was a blip, if at all, on the national news. Well, that homeless vet was white. Doesn't sell news stories. It doesn't amp anybody up. I personally don't like being used as a pawn. I personally don't have any predetermined, predesignated thought of people. And like I said, in the military, we didn't care. You took care of me, I took care of you. And it was left, everything else was left at the gate. But it makes me think that they're trying to weaken us. And clearly the world sees we're being weakened. If you watch any type of international news, it's sad. It's sad that the outlook that they have on us, the outlook they have on the Biden administration, the outlook they have on the issues of our current society. Um, some international news ridicules us, laughs at us, because they think it's so dumb. They can't believe that we are continuing to sit through all this that's going on. I mean, the weakening of our border. I can't even tell you how many unaccompanied children there are. Last I heard, it was 25,000 unaccompanied children were at the border in holding centers. The HS1 bill wants to allow all those folks that are coming across illegally, which they're no longer using the term illegal immigrant, it's undocumented citizens. So that means if you can get into our country, you're a citizen, you're just undocumented. And I have no idea what that means. We as a country should hold our citizenship in a very high value. And the new terminology that is coming out of Washington is undocumented citizen. So they're already saying they're a citizen. They're just not documented. I don't know about you, but that burns my ass. Sets me on fire. But there's another division point. You're going to go ahead and let thousands and thousands and thousands, and the Border Patrol is catching criminals coming across, trying to come across daily. Hundreds of them have been caught thus far, probably higher. And how much more can we take? I mean, if you look at it as a rational, try to be biased person, the border control, the border situation affects Republicans and Democrats. It's going to affect us all as Americans. The law changes from the federal government, if go through, if they pass HS1, that would affect all of us, because now our states don't make our voting regulations. It's driven from the federal government. And also in there, they are going to allow people who are in this country who are not citizens the right to vote. That is absurd. That's like going to a foreign country and just hanging out, and then you get to vote for their politics. You're not a citizen, but you're going to vote for them anyway. So these are the divisions that are being driven. And I'm trying to stay in a position where I can look at things objectively. But truthfully, I can't see any of the decisions that the current administration is making as positive. I can't see that the right radio, the right media, is doing anything. Well, I should say the whole media. Left media is so twisted, it's unbelievable. Right media is twisted as well. Even the internet media, celebrity people, and I won't name them because who knows, but they are feeding stories of rebellion, two presidents, wars, cyber wars going on behind the scenes. They are feeding so much crap. And it's stirring up a whole part of the population, because that part of the population, look, that part of the population voted for Trump. Their guy lost. The Biden administration was certified in. But the stories that come out of the right are very hard, and now people are talking about aliens, and man, it's so hard to even believe that any of it's true. And the left is spinning a story of, I don't know, like horrific, terrible, and then they're making it sound like all these bills that are being put out are just, they're going to save us, they're going to stop it. How are letting illegal immigrants, undocumented citizens, vote for our president, vote for our representatives, how is that going to make anything better? How is, when you go ahead and you say in a bill that you're going to take away assault rifles, okay, every rifle can be used as an assault rifle. What is the division between assault rifle and hunting rifle? Well, they don't say. And that's for a purpose. That ambiguity gives them the ability to claim every rifle is an assault rifle. The other bills that have come out, the $15,000 in New York, they're giving $15,000 to undocumented citizens, aka illegal aliens, but not to homeless veterans. At what point do we go, this is enough, man? This is so stupid. This is totally not what we want as American people. And I don't care if you're on the right or left. I don't care. It should not matter. Because these are things that affect you. They affect people around you. They affect people you know, people you don't know. And it's not, I don't believe for 1 minute that any of the people who know me, that are people who voted for Joe Biden, would ever want money to go to illegal immigrants before it went to veterans. Not one. I don't believe for 1 minute that any of those people would want their rifles taken away or their Second Amendment infringed upon. I don't believe for 1 minute that they want their freedom of speech impeded by censorship. You know, I think it's time to forget the election. And I think it's time for everybody to start looking at what's good for all of us. What makes sense? Does it make sense to give undocumented citizens, illegal aliens, the right to vote in our elections? Does it make sense to not have to have ID when you vote, but you need ID to get a pack of cigarettes, go to the bar, buy beer at Walmart, get married, register a car, but you don't need it to vote? Does it make sense that we can't put a stopper in the border situation, or are they wanting this to happen? Do they, oh, we can't stop it, oh, jazz hands. Can they not stop it, or they don't want to stop it? What makes more sense to you? I think it's about time we stop looking at the election, we stop worrying about who's the president, and we start looking at what the presidents are doing, what the politicians are doing. There's not a lot we can do other than not vote them in. There's not a lot we can do right now other than watch the show, listen to all the sides, Listen to all the exaggerations. Listen to aliens are coming to suck my brain because they want my adrenaline. Well, I don't have any left. They don't want me. I have all I can do to get up. The fact is at what point do we say enough is enough? And then the real question is, what do we do about it? I don't know. I have friends that say they're going to run for office. Awesome. I got friends that have written and are writing, congressmen, senators, the White House, with very little response. They are not afraid of us, the American people, the politicians who are pulling all these strings. If you believe in the deep state, the guy behind the veil, the great Oz, he's not afraid of us. We can't, the Bill Gates of the world who have symposiums on plagues, and next thing you know, we have a pandemic. They're not afraid of us. At what point do we stop saying, well, look, here's the reality. If you're going to impinge upon my rights, then I just won't pay federal taxes or state taxes. Now, if everybody decided to do that, are they going to arrest 330 million people? No. But everybody won't. At what point do we... Well, I don't know. You tell me. You can comment on these videos. You can share these videos. I'd appreciate if you would share them, because that'll start to get it out more. And if you share it, then maybe somebody else hears it and comes up with an idea. But the counterproductiveness of our government currently is insane. The federal government's going to pass bills. The states are going to void them, which I didn't even know they had the power to do. We're going to pass laws that allow illegal immigrants to vote without ID, collect benefits through the state for unemployment, and we're going to give them $15,000 and leave our veterans homeless. I don't know what world I woke up in this year, but I sure wish that timeline would change back to something I recognize. Well, look, man, I babbled long enough. Share this video if you like it. I'd like to get some more views and get my word out to people. If not, feel free not to share it. It's not monetized, so I don't get any money for anything. Yeah, I've rambled enough. Thanks for listening. Peace out.